What's up guys, I'm in the middle of a test with the thermal camera, the welder and the 10k EV battery, which is an LG cam 180 amp hour 27 volt 7S system. Right now we've got the big diesel genset going outside and I've been looking for a way to use something to charge this battery pack, which will probably be in winter. This is not going to be much bigger, this battery pack. It's going to be another 7 or 10 of these modules. Been looking for a cost-effective way to get power from 240 volt AC to 28 volts DC as fast as we can without paying thousands and thousands of dollars for a charger. Now there's lots of chargers out there like EV chargers that are like onboard chargers. Just keeping an eye on some cables here. Just looking for hot spots. I might have to drop the current a little bit. I'll just show you what the current is right now. 74 amps. Let's dial that down to 35. Hear the generator rev up. The welder's only pushing out under 40 degree air, so it's not wasting a great deal out in heat. We should be down to about 35 amps, 38 amps. So the most I've ever charged this battery pack at before is the peak of this beast, which is 45 amps. 45 amps coming through this from the solar, works out to high 1200 watts, 1280, something like that. Now I was using this welder to charge my 12 volt system, but its static lowest voltage sits at about, I think it was 17.5, 18 volts. Even though you turn the voltage down, it doesn't really control the voltage properly. It's still like allowed to run away, and it'll accumulate all the way up to like 60 volts. So you can't really use this because you can't leave it. Doesn't mean another one won't do a better job. But if you crank the wire speed, you get a the wire speed is the current when it's on stick mode. I thought, what have I got to lose? This thing's temperature controlled. I need a bigger cable. That one there, the shorter one, doesn't have the best connection in it. But if I was going to use these DINs plug cables anyway, I'd make an eyelet end for that, and I'd actually mount it to the bus bar of the battery and put a shunt there, so I actually measure how much power came out of it. So we got 6.4 kilowatts today out of the sun, but I've had everything going in the shed. So this has a 60 amp step down off this 10k of batteries, which goes to a 2000 watt inverter and a 3000 watt inverter that I use to run things. I've got a waste oil generator that runs on recycled engine oil with a little bit of unleaded mixed into it, so add unleaded petrol, gasoline for my American fellows. So the beauty of this thing is this was a very, very, very cheap welder, and it's seeming to work rather well. Now, effectively, an EV battery like this, when it's cooled, would easily charge at 1C. So that's 180 amp hours, so that'd charge at 180 amp hours. Therefore, that'd charge at 360 amp hours. I don't have a calculator on me. The 360 amp hours times 27 volts is a lot of watts. That probably exceeds the grunt that the generator can even put out. I haven't found the tipping point with the generator yet. Just leave that thermal camera on so I can just check things while I'm talking. Hopefully I don't just trail off too much, but so that clamps come down to in the 30 degrees range. So let's pull some more amps again. 38. Let's just bump that up a bit so we sit in the 50s. Oh, that was pretty close. So ideally I want to get like a 30 kVA generator, something that's capable of running 3-phase powered equipment. And if I get that, I'll do the same thing with a digital welder, like an inverter based welder like this. I do have an old Magmate 150. It's only 150 amp welder, but it's like a lot more commercial than this, so it'll like last and handle putting out that grunt. This thing's not getting hot. It does have a huge cooling outlet down the bottom there and the side, and that's the only fan there. That's the suction for the fan. But yeah, like it's certainly not a heat issue. What do we got? 30 Celsius. So let's just check, see what's running between the batteries. So total going in is 48. There's 21 heading from this battery to the other battery, which is pretty cool. It's a bit going through that balance lead. Not much through that one. So I'd say it's staying relatively well balanced. See temperature in the balancer. No, the balancer's stone cold. So basically there's a 100 amp Delhi BMS balancer on that one, which connects to this red arc and to this solar controller through the same cables. That allows me to protect the charge and discharge of the battery. If it gets down below a certain voltage, the BMS shuts off. If it gets up to 28.8, it stops charging the battery, and it keeps it balanced. I'm assuming if it got within a certain amount of balance parameters, it shuts down. I don't actually know though. Every time I've ever checked this twin pack, it's still stayed within balance, and I believe that Delhi must balance at about 1 amp. So I need a pile of those, or one really big one, or maybe even a Batrium or something. But the beauty of this higher voltage arrangement is just that it can really soak up the watts. Up to 26.7 volts there. So the crazy thing about like lithium to lead acid is the amount of absorption that these batteries have. They just eat up that power. Like you can just really pull the generator down with the amount of grunt that puts out. Up into the 60s again. So we're going up 0.2 of a volt over there. That's pretty amazing. So the reason you get a higher current draw from this battery to that battery on this bottom lead is because that's the main cell negative, main cell positive, sorry. Like 60 amps is pretty impressive charge rate. That's like at least 1500 watts. You can see the crimp on the back of that. See the crimp there? Thanks to my mate Reese for letting me use his snap-on thermal gun. If you guys have got a recommendation for a heat gun, I really need one. I don't know how, after just using this one's a bit older, so it doesn't have a huge resolution. As you can see, it's enough. Like if you're looking at cables and stuff, the thing is you can look away from the screen and know what you're looking at, but it takes the snapshot for you, so you don't need to see the clearest thing in the world when you're looking at the screen. You know what you're looking at because it's just there. I see some really like high-end ones, like some of the Fleur ones are crazy, but I just can't justify that money. I don't have it. It's not something I can do. Yeah, this is literally using, this is a World Force 160 MST. I don't know where they get the amperage rating, mate. It's like, would it really do 160 amps? I don't think so. Project Farm, old mate from Project Farm did a video and he tested every welder he could find and he actually current clamped them, inrush clamped them and that, to see what that actually put out and how long they'd do it for. And apparently one of the best ones was a Yes Welder. I know that sounds like a stupid name, but if you've ever seen a Yes Welder, they're a Chinese brand, but they're supposedly really good. So if anyone has a suggestion for a charger or any reason why I really shouldn't use something like a welder to charge a battery pack, keeping in mind I'm not going to be from flat to fully charging a battery pack and like float voltage charging, you know, like what you would with a lead acid. So all of your charging algorithms and all those kinds of things kind of become irrelevant, because what I actually want to do with this is just boot a heap of current into a battery, charge it up, and once it's at a set charge, happy days, it's there. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to have a 50-60 kilowatt battery pack set up and fire up the generator and bang 20 kilowatts into it in a couple of hours in the middle of winter or whatever, when I haven't had a great deal of sun or I've had a lot of shady days in a row. Once I get this battery to the point where it's big, I have somewhere in the order of about 5,000 watts of solar that should be getting thrown at it. So 5k of solar roughly. Got two of those 150/70s, so at 27 volts you can get a lot of solar out of one of those. And I've also got this 45 amp MPPT. I do have a 60 amp PWM, same brand, a TriStar Morningstar PWM. Do you guys think I should run this welder through the PWM charger just for some protection? If I did that, one, I'd get telemetry, so I'd know what's coming in, where it was going. Being an inverter welder, it should be clean enough power. Tell me what you think. It does limit me to 60 amps, but like 60 amps at 27 volts is 1600 watts. It's a pretty good charger. I've already got it. I've already got welders. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know how to test like the output waves or whatever to really know what I'm doing. It's amazing how that trims the generator down. But yeah, what I do know is 240 to whatever voltage output should I put it through a regulator before I send it this way. Thanks heaps for watching. Hope you found this interesting. I'll try and make some videos with this thermal cam before I give it back to my mate. And that's a snap-on one. It's just USB charge. Pretty simple. There's the model. EETH311. I imagine it was expensive. It's got snap-on written on it. Somebody recommend me a good one of them. Someone recommend me a good charger, and or tell me if I just need to throw it through a PWM. Maximum power point tracking doesn't matter so much because we have lots of grunt. I guess let's just see what actual open circuit voltage it does. Whoa, don't do that again. Yeah, see, look, it spikes straight to 60 volts. So it doesn't really have voltage control. It's a bit of a... And there's also, obviously there's also no soft start there. We'll just turn that off and we're waiting for it to stop. Oh, that's a more accurate voltage. You see that? That was higher than that before. Unless it's putting out less power. It's not putting out any power. What's going on here? No power coming out of it. Okay, so we might have stuffed something. We'll take that back off and see if it floats up open voltage. No voltage. Oh no, we woke it back up. 60 volts out. No, I won't connect that because we'll get a huge arc again. So we'll turn that off. The voltage dropping. I did have a few issues with the generator where it was so there we go, now it's putting out power again. 39 amps is about as low as it goes. I did have some issues with the generator because its open circuit voltage at idle was too high. I was getting up into the 260s. I don't know if that's dangerous for like electronics or not. I haven't tried this welder on it to actually weld with. I've only ever used my cheap dumb welder because I didn't really want to blow it up, which was just a transformer based stick welder. Anyway, I've rambled enough. You guys know what I want. Give us a thumbs up. We're heading towards 12,000 subscribers, and stuff like this works. This could help a lot of people, so if you have a mate that knows a lot more about electronics than I do, can you send it to them and just see if they can comment or ask the question and see if you can impart some knowledge? Because I don't know about you guys, but I read all the comments, and whenever I'm reading comments, somebody's leaving some little nuggets of information down there, and it generally helps everyone. So rising tide all boats kind of caper. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. See you later.